Okay, let's see question 7. We want to identify the leading coefficient and use the leading coefficient test to determine the n behavior of those polynomials. Let's see A. A is a degree 3 because the leading term is this term. Right, so this is a degree 3 polynomial. And remember the n behavior, let's just draw. It's R degree, and the leading coefficient is positive. So the n behavior is like this, if we graph it, right? How do we use a word to describe this n behavior? On the left-hand side means x goes to negative infinity. When x goes to negative infinity, the polynomial, if we call this f of x, then f of x goes to the order polynomial, right? Goes to negative infinity, right? Because this is heading in this direction. So this way, heading to negative infinity, and heading down to negative infinity, right? So this, the other one on the right-hand side, when x goes to positive infinity, because it keeps going right, and the polynomial we call f of x goes into positive infinity. So that's the n behavior of A. Now let's see B. We just have to identify the leading term. The leading term is this one, right? Because this one, the variable has the highest exponent, which is 7. Again, is polynomial of R degree. R degree, but the leading coefficient is negative. So we have this one and this one. And the left-hand side means when x goes to negative infinity, the polynomial, this polynomial, goes to positive infinity. And this side means when x goes to positive infinity, the polynomial, or maybe call f of x or p of x, doesn't matter. Okay, just give a name, maybe call p of x, goes to negative infinity. So those two are R degrees. We don't care about in the middle. We just care about the n behavior. I only care about the n behavior. So when the x value goes to negative infinity and the x value goes to positive infinity. Well, let's see C. C is even degree, right? And D is even degree. But the leading coefficient is C is positive, D is negative. So we graph, right? This represents the x, this represents the polynomial p of x. Let's just call all of them p polynomial p of x. So for even degree, when the coefficient, leading coefficient is positive, the n behavior is like this. When x goes to negative infinity, the polynomial goes to the positive infinity. When x goes to the positive infinity, the polynomial also goes to the positive infinity. But with D, it's different. So let's draw D with a different color, maybe with blue color. D, because the leading coefficient is negative, so our n behavior like this. When x goes to negative infinity, polynomial goes to negative infinity. When x goes to positive infinity, polynomial also goes to negative infinity. So those are the leading. The n behavior is decided by the leading terms. Let's see, is this? Now let's see, number 8. So we want to perform the indicated operations, right? The first one is adding. Second one is adding. This is adding. This is subtracting, subtracting, subtracting. So when we do that with polynomials, adding or subtraction, we are looking for like terms. So looking for like terms. So let's see. This one leading term is a square term. But in this one is a cubic term. So we write the cubic term first because the cubic term is higher than the square term. So we write the cubic term. So adding 3x cubed, then x a cube, then plus 2x squared, right? So x cubed term has no like terms. X squared term has no like terms. So we just write down them by themselves. Now let's see x term. We have 6x and negative 2x. We add those two, get a 4x. Then we have number 8, add the number 2, we get a 10. Okay, that's first, that's 8. Let's see B. B, we look for like terms. 5x squared, 3x squared, add them. 5 plus 3, that's 8. So we get 8x squared. Then we have negative 2xy plus positive 4xy. Negative 2 plus 4, that's positive 2xy. We have 7y squared plus negative 3y squared. 7 minus 3, that's a 4y squared. That's it. That's for B. For C, we have 12x raised by 4 plus 3x raised by 4. 12 plus 3, that's 15. So we have 15x raised by 4. Then the next term, negative 4x cubed plus 2x cubed. Negative 4 plus 2, negative 2. So we got negative 2x cubed. Next term, 2x squared plus no 2x squared, so just 2x squared. Next one, x term, negative x plus negative x, that's negative 2x. Then the constant term, negative 5 plus 5, well, that's 0. Plus 0, we don't really have to write it. So that's it, that's the answer. Now this one, we do subtraction. So let's change our colors to be red. So subtraction, we have to be very careful. Sometimes when we subtract a negative number, it becomes positive. So I have 5x cubed, subtract 2x cubed, 5 minus 2, that's 3. So we get 3x cubed. The square term, we have negative 2x squared minus negative 4x squared. That becomes a negative 2x squared plus 4x squared, right? Negative 2 plus 4, that's plus 2x squared. Next one, 6x minus 3x. Well, 6 minus 3, that's 3. So that's 3x. Minus 1 minus negative 5 become minus 1 plus 5. So become plus 4. That's it. Look for like terms. So x cubed term, 9x cubed minus 4x cubed, 9 minus 4, 5. 5x cubed. Okay. Then this one, negative 3x squared y minus negative 3x squared y, that become minus, become plus, cancelled. Same term, different signs, cancel to be 0. Minus ay cubed minus negative ay cubed becomes a plus ay cubed, also cancelled. What's left? We have this term left. But we have a minus this term, so that become plus. So plus 2xy squared. So 2 terms are left. This one, we have fractions, right? Let's see if they have common factors. So we have x raised by 4, x raised by 4. Okay, we have 1 over 8. We have 1 over 8 minus 3 over 8. What's that? That's minus 2 over 8, right? Simplify, that's negative quarter. So we get a negative 1/4 x raised by 4. X raised by 4. The second term, we have 3/4 x squared and a 1/4 minus. So this is a minus 1/4 x squared. So 3 minus 1, that's a 2. 2 over 4, that's half. So we get a half x squared. Then we have negative 5 over 12. Minus become plus. Negative 5 plus 3, that's negative 2. Negative 2 over 12, that's negative 1 over 6. Now let's see G. Now it's multiplication. When we multiply, we don't need to look for like terms. We look for same base. First, we deal with the numbers. We see negative a times negative 4. Negative times negative positive, a times 4, 32. Then we have x cubed times x. When we multiply the same base, we add the exponents. So 3 plus 1, that's x raised by 4. Then we look for y. Y raised by 4, y squared, 4 plus 2, y raised by 6. Now let's see this one. This one we need to distribute. Right? We have a monomial multiplied by a trinomial. So we need to distribute this one into each of those three. So we multiply negative 2xy squared with 3xy to the 6. Negative 2 times 3, you get negative 6. X times x, x squared. Y squared times y to the 6, y to the 2 plus 6, y to the 8. Then next term, minus become positive. Negative 2 times negative 12, that's 24. X times no one, just x. Y squared times y to the 4th, 2 plus 4, that's y raised by 6. Negative 2xy squared times 4x, negative 2 times 4, negative 8. X times x, x squared. Y squared times nothing, so it's the y squared. Right, just distribute. Negative 2xy squared. Now this one have binomial. So with binomial, let me move this up. So number 2, so number I, binomial, right? Binomial multiplied by trinomial. So multiply 2x with everyone. Multiply 2x with everyone. Then we'll multiply 7 with everyone, right? So let me just erase that. So basically do double distribution. So first we multiply 2x with ax cubed with 2x with minus 5. 2x times ax cubed, 2 times a, 16. X times x cubed, x raised by 4. 2x times 2x, 4x squared. 2x times negative 5, negative 10x. Now multiply 7 with everyone in the second parenthesis. 7 times a, 56. X raised by 3. 7 times 2x, 14x. 7 times negative 5, negative 35. Now let's look for like terms. Like terms, we have only negative 10x and positive 14x. So that changes to the answer to be 16x raised by 4 doesn't change. 4x squared doesn't change. Minus 10x plus 14x becomes just 4x. Then minus 35. Okay, J, we have trinomial multiplied by trinomial. So we do triple distribution. We do x squared multiplied by everyone, x times everyone, 1 times everyone, all right? So x squared times x squared, x raised by 4. X squared times x, x cubed. X squared times 4, 4x squared. Right? Then x, multiply x with x squared, x cubed. Multiply x with x, x squared. Multiply x with 1, with 4, 4x. Then last one, use 1 multiply everyone in the second parenthesis. 1 times x squared, 1 times x, 1 times 4, 4. Now we look for like terms. X to the fourth power, no like terms, just itself. Then we have x cubed. We see we have x cubed, 1x cubed, 1x cubed, adds together to be 2x cubed. Then 4x squared, x squared, x squared. So 1x squared, 1x squared plus 4x squared, 6x squared. The next term, we have 4x, x, 5x. For the number, just 4. Okay, so got a polynomial degree 4. K is a square term. Remember, square term has a formula. Square the first one. First one is 4x squared. And multiply the first one with the second one, then multiply by 2. So 2 times 4x times 1. That's the middle term. Then times the second one squared, which is at 1 squared. 4x times 4x, 16x squared. 2 times 4x times 1, 8x. 1 squared, just 1. Now let's see L, x plus y squared. Square the first one, multiply xy, then multiply by 2. Then square the second one. Well, this one, we have trinomial square. Trinomial square also has a formula. Square the first one, 2x squared. Square the second one, square the third one. Now, multiply the first two, so 2 times x times y, then double it. 2 times the first one times the second one. Then plus 2 times the first one times the third one. Then 2 times the second one times the third one. That's the formula. So 2x times 2x, 4x squared, plus y squared, plus 1. Then plus 2 times 2xy, that's 4xy. 2 times 2x, 4x. 2 times y, 2y. And that's it. Nothing can be combined because there's no like terms. Let's see 9. 9, we want to factor this expression, right? So we want to find the greatest common factor. Well, let's see the first one. Do we see x raised by 4 is the greatest common factor? Right? X raised by 7 divided by x raised by 4, that's x raised by 3. If we multiply those two, we get back to x raised by 7. Then minus 3, right? But then the second factor is the difference of x raised by 3 minus 3. We're done. We're done. Let's see this one. First, let's observe numbers. Observe numbers, we see 9 is the greatest common factor. And then x squared is the greatest common factor for x. Then y is a greatest common factor for y term. Y involves y, base y. Then the first one, 36x squared y cubed divided by 9x squared y. 36 divided by 9, we get 4. X squared divided by x squared, we get 1. 4 times 1, just 4. Then we have y cubed divided by y, which we get y squared. If we multiply those two, we see we have 9 times 4, 36. Then x squared y cubed. So we still get back to this term. The second one, negative 18 divided by 9, that's negative 2. Then x cubed divided by x squared is x. Then y divided by y is 1. Then the second term is negative 2x. Right? If we multiply negative 2x with 9x squared y, we get back to negative 18x cubed y. Then 27 divided by 9, you get 3. X to the fourth power divided by x squared, we have x squared. Then y squared divided by y, we still have y. right? If we multiply 3x squared y with 9x squared y, we get back to this term. But now there are no more common factors among those three. Let's see C. C, we see 5x as a greatest common factor. So then we get 3x squared, right? Minus 2x, then plus 5. That's it. So the greatest common factor is 5x. Now let's see 10. We want to factor out the negative of the greatest common factor. So we want to factor out negative 9, right? Then we get x squared. And the second one was a positive, now it becomes negative, right? Minus 4. That's minus 4y. Minus 4y, right? Minus 4y. So negative 9 times x squared minus 4y. The second one, we want to just factor the negative sign as if it were negative 1. So get x squared minus 7x plus 5, right? Because of factor out negative, so inside parentheses, this one becomes positive, this becomes negative, this becomes positive. If we distribute this negative, so we get back to the origin. For this one, we want to factor out negative 7x. So we have x minus 2, right? Negative 7x times x gives us back this one. Negative 7x times negative 2 gives us positive 14x. Now let's see 11. Factor by grouping, because each one will have 4 members, right? So maybe we group these two, then we group these two. So group the first two, the common factor is x. Then we have x plus 6, right? Group the second one, we see the common factor is 8. Then we have x plus also 6, because 6 times 8 is 48. Now we see among those two groups, x plus 6 is a common factor. So that means we can factor out x plus 6. What's left for the first group is x. What's left for the second group is 8. Let's see the second one. Second one, maybe we'll group these two, we group these two. So the first two, we see 3x squared is a common factor. Then we have 3x minus 2, right? 3x squared times 3x, that's 9x cubed. 3x squared times negative 2, that's negative 6x squared. Second group, we want to factor out negative 5. 15x divided by 5, that's 3x. 10 divided by negative 5, that's negative 2. Again, we see common factor in those two groups. So we want to factor out 3x minus 2. What's left for the first group? 3x squared. What's left for the second group? Negative 5. For C, let's group those two, group those two. We see 2y is a common factor. So then we get a 7x minus 1. Multiply 2y with 7x, we get a 14xy. Multiply 2y with negative 1, get back to negative 2y. Then plus we want to factor out x for the second group. Then we have 7x minus 1. So 7x minus 1 is a common factor. Then we have 2y left in the first group. We'll have plus x left in the second group. So the factor to be 2 factors, 7x minus 1, 2x plus 2y plus x. So the last one, we maybe will group these two, we group these two. So group these two, we factor x by y minus 1. Group these two, factor out negative y. So we get a y. Well, let's factor out positive y. Factor out positive y squared divided by y, that's still just a y. Negative y divided by y, that's minus 1. Then we see y minus 1 is a common factor. What's left for this first group? X. What's left for the second group? Y. So that factor to be y minus 1 times x plus y. Now let's see 12. Oh, 12 is a lot. Okay, let me take a break. My throat hurts. Let me take a break, then we'll continue with next one.